You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Hey listeners, let me let you in on a little secret. You don't have to stress about planning your class lessons, small groups, and individual sessions anymore. My school counseling membership program, Impact, is here to help. So, what do Impact members get? Monthly curriculum plans across all 3 tiers, SEL lessons, small groups, individual, and seasonal activities, step-by-step video implementation guides, bi-weekly Zoom coaching calls with me, and an exclusive Facebook group community. This membership is designed for school counselors who want to deliver the best possible content to their students, but who also want to just press the easy button. You'll get access to monthly curriculum plans, resources, support, and community so you can deliver quality, engaging, life-changing counseling lessons to your kiddos. So what do you think? Are you ready to make an impact? Join today at stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/impact. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of School Counseling Simplified, and a super exciting episode at that because this month marks our 2-year podcast anniversary. I literally cannot believe it has already been 2 years. Thank you so much to our listeners. This podcast would not be possible or even an idea without you guys. You guys are the inspiration behind doing the podcast, and I so appreciate your love and support, nice comments, nice reviews, and just knowing that you guys are listening to this and helping your students. It makes me feel like I'm helping so many students, which is totally my passion. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so excited that it is our 2-year anniversary. Yay! So to celebrate, we are doing a fun giveaway. I'm giving away a pair of AirPods because what better way to listen to your podcast than on your AirPods? I know I love mine. So anyways, head over to my Instagram to get all the details on the giveaway. Okay, guys, it is Bullying Prevention Month. It is October, and you may be thinking, well, you've talked about Bullying Prevention Month last October. Shouldn't we just go listen to those episodes? And I encourage you to do that, sure. But also, this is going to be totally different. So I have new stuff for you guys, and I'm pumped. I also have loads of construction noise in the background, which is super duper annoying, and I so apologize for that. But it is just Estes La Vida in Costa Rica, right? So I don't know what's going on. It's not at my house. It's at my neighbor's house, I guess. But I don't know how long it's going to be or when it's going to be over, so we're just going to power through, so bear with me, and the jackhammer. All right, guys. So today on the podcast, I want to talk to you about creating a culture of kindness. So like I said, usually I talk about direct bullying prevention interventions, and we'll link to those episodes in the show notes in the past where I've talked about like, here's bullying prevention games you can do. Here are bullying prevention school-wide activities you can do. And all that stuff is super important. But this month, I wanted to switch it up a little bit, and I kind of want to talk about bullying prevention adjacent topics. So these are things that you can do with your students, and by promoting these topics, you're in turn promoting bullying prevention. So these are almost like the predecessors to the bullying prevention that prevents the bullying. So as you can see, we just keep taking it back one step further because we totally want to prevent bullying. It's interesting because bullying prevention has always been interesting to me since I was a new school counselor. You know, it seems like every month there's a different cause that we want to bring awareness to, and there's so many good ones. It's so hard to choose like what I'm going to focus on. You know, if I did one for every month, then it would just kind of fill up our whole podcast schedule and we wouldn't be able to talk about anything else. But the reason I like bullying prevention and like to talk about it, a few things. First off, I think October is just like one of my favorite months. My sister's birthday is in October, and I'm always so jealous because it's just such a fun month. I feel like it's like football season. If you're like in the South, that's really fun, and it's kind of fall. I mean, I live in Costa Rica now, so it's actually rainy season and like the worst time of year here. But I know in the States, fall is lovely and beautiful, and it's just kind of like fun. Back to school is over, but it's still like fresh, and I don't know. I just feel like it's good vibes all around. Pumpkin patches and hay rides and Oktoberfest and just a really good time. I've always loved October. And it happens to be Bullying Prevention Month. So I think I've always just been in a good mood, and I want to do all these like initiatives, and I'm always feeling pumped up in October. It's also just one of those things that kind of fell into my lap. I feel like my first year of school counseling, I was trying to plan, and I saw something probably on Pinterest about Bullying Prevention Month, and I was like, yes, let's do this. And then I kind of made it my thing. And then every October since then, I've just continued to make it my thing, and it's gotten bigger and bigger. I even did the Ask a training to be a bully prevention specialist. So yeah, I'm passionate about it. And then obviously the whole reason is because bullying is horrible, right? So if we can prevent this, and if we can help our students be more kind and more understanding and have more empathy, I think we can help our world in general be a better place. So this is like our micro intervention we can do to help the world in general. Okay, I'm feeling optimistic today. I think you can tell. Again, super apologize about the construction, but let's go. So, like I said, this series breaks down some bullying prevention adjacent topics, and in turn, by promoting these topics, we're promoting bullying prevention. So first up, how to create a culture of kindness at your school. So by having a culture of kindness at your school, you're ensuring that bullying isn't going to take place, right? If everyone's just being kind and loving all the time, that's going to prevent bullying. But it obviously is way harder than it sounds. So there's two areas I want to focus on when it comes to creating a culture of kindness at your school. And first is the morning meeting, and second are restorative practices. So morning meeting is just a great thing that your teachers can do to get the kiddos talking and to feel like they have a safe space. So I'm sure lots of your teachers are already doing some kind of morning meeting, but I think if you could check in with them and just see, hey, are you guys doing a morning meeting? What does it look like? Can I come shadow some morning meetings? If you pop in and watch them, that would be a really cool way for you to see what they're doing in their classrooms. And you can also bring some ideas. So maybe, the newer teachers, or maybe a lot of teachers just aren't doing a morning meeting. And you can kind of suggest how they could do like a SEL type of morning meeting. So I recommend using some morning meeting discussion cards. And they would have questions on them that say things like, how are you a good friend? How can you help your classmates when they're upset? Do you like working in groups or alone? When is it hard to cooperate with your classmates? If you were a teacher for the day, what's one rule you would make? How does it feel when your classmates don't follow the rules? How can you cooperate with your classmates? Things like that. So by getting kids to discuss these things each and every morning, it's doing a few things. It's having them think about their classmates, so they're practicing empathy. It's having them open up and share, so they're practicing vulnerability. And it's just practicing collaboration, right? So they know every morning they're going to sit down in their circle, totally encourage doing it in a circle, and they're going to have these chats, right? It's just a good way to start the day off. So I totally encourage you to support teachers with this. I have some morning meeting discussion cards that I'll link to in the show notes. You could get these and distribute them to your teachers and give them some examples of how they could use it with their students. I think that would be really helpful as the counselor to kind of train the teachers on how they can facilitate a simple morning meeting, because we know they are really busy from the minute school starts. They've got lots of things they need to cover, but just having like a 5-10 minute morning meeting is a really nice vibe to start the day, and I think it makes a big difference. Now, the other thing you could do are those restorative practices. So I went to a training on restorative practices, and the whole thing's super fascinating. You can get specifically trained in being a facilitator at your school, and I totally recommend that. That's probably the best way. I'm not officially trained. I went to a training, but I'm not certified or anything. But I just learned so much in the training that I went to, and I've continued to research it since then. So I wanted to share a little bit about it, and there's two things you can do in restorative practices in your class setting. So you could do these, encourage the teachers to do these, or it's something you could do when you come in for class lessons. But there's proactive circle, and then there's resolution circles. So first, let's talk about that proactive circle. In the proactive circle, this would be something that's paired great with the morning meeting. So you can do some quick discussion cards, and then you would have a proactive circle. So I have an article I'm going to link to in the show notes as I was researching this, and it's from Edutopia. It's about bringing restorative practices to your school by Laura McClure. So again, I'll cite and link to that in the show notes, but I want to read a quote from that, and just to kind of explain what these circles are. So it says, circles give everyone a rare chance to share what they're feeling and experiencing. Over time, circle becomes a safe space where everyone feels they are heard and that they belong. That's a precious thing in a school or anywhere. Circles can be strengthened by a curriculum that sequentially builds skills. The circle naturally asks participants to use social and emotional skills that they may not have fully developed, including active listening, handling strong emotions, and respecting differences. A sequenced curriculum can guide circle keepers in gradually building these skills. Okay, so that was the quote. Again, I'll link to the article. Two pieces here. First piece, she's talking about the circle's a safe space where everyone can feel that they're being heard and that they belong. So totally agree. And this makes me think of a feelings check. So doing a feelings check, each day as a class, that's a great way to promote this culture of kindness at your school. You're getting to hear from those people. So maybe the bully is getting to hear from the target and they're like, oh, wow, they're a human who has emotions like I do, or vice versa. This is a great way for kids to empathize. So get a feelings check poster. I have a freebie I'll link to in the show notes, a free poster. Give it to all the teachers, hang them in their classrooms. If each teacher had the poster and the discussion cards, these will be a game changer. So, they'll hang up the poster and then the kids can reference it and say how they're feeling and why. And of course the teacher can model, oh, I'm feeling sad today because I forgot my lunch or something like that. So, or because I have my least favorite leftovers for lunch, or I don't know. It can be like as simple as that, or it can be really deep and meaningful. Like, I'm feeling scared today because my dad got arrested last night. So obviously the kids in your group or in your class, they're going to get, more and more open as they're used to this practice and as the trust is built and the time goes on. I also would encourage that you kind of train teachers in basic confidentiality. So maybe providing them with a poster that says like what we say in here stays in here during the circle time, that way the class takes it seriously if people are sharing a lot. So they can be really, really, like she says, a precious thing. And they can be really, really valuable when done correctly. So I recommend a great way to start, do some morning meeting discussion cards, get a feelings check poster, and then discuss confidentiality briefly and just encourage the kids to share what's going on and how they're feeling every day. It also gives the teacher an idea of how the kids are feeling, so this way they can respond appropriately. So for example, that extreme example that I used earlier, maybe a kid's upset because their dad got arrested last night. Well, if they're not participating during reading time, hello, that's probably why. But if the teacher didn't know that, they may be a little more harsh, or like disciplinary on them. So it's just a great way all around for everyone to just become more empathetic. The second part of the quote, she was talking about how circles can be strengthened by a curriculum that sequentially builds skills. Hello, school counselors, this is where you come in. So it's saying the circle naturally asks participants to use social and emotional skills that they may not have fully developed. So that's where you can come in and teach things like active listening, handling strong emotions, respecting differences. You're going to teach those SEL skills so then they can participate in the circle. So the more skills they have, the easier the circle will be. So that's how you can kind of tie it into your class lessons. Anyways, that's a proactive circle. I love this idea. Then there are resolution circles. So resolution circles are kind of when there's a problem, how we're going to resolve it. So like a conflict resolution situation. So what you can do as the counselor here is, let's say that there's two things. So there's like a talk it out circle you could do where you have all the kids sit in a circle, and if there's a conflict in the class, those students can go in the middle of the circle, kind of like a fishbowl exercise, and kind of talk it out, and then the students who are observing it can also provide feedback as well. We want to use a talking piece for this so everyone's being respectful and taking turns. You may want to come up with some ground rules with the teacher to help them with this. But this is something maybe you could pop in the classes and do as needed, or you could really train the teachers so they could do it. But so, you have two kids who are having a conflict about something. Okay, well, we're a class, we're a family, let's kind of repair it together. So those kids are going to get in the middle. They'll each take turns respectfully talking their sides. Some outsiders can contribute a little, and then the teacher and you as the counselor can try to resolve the conflict or come up with next steps. Also, sometimes the problem is with the teacher and the student. Now, a big takeaway I had when I went to the training was they were saying teachers feel frustrated because they'll have a problem with a student, and then the student will go to the counselor's office, and then they love going to the counselor's office because it's like fun and cool. And while they're over there, they have fun, they come back, and they're all happy and better. But the teacher's feelings are still hurt. No one really repaired it on the teacher's end. And the teacher and the student still have a strained relationship, and they feel like you as the counselor didn't really help them. You just kind of just helped the student, or maybe just distracted the student. So I know that's frustrating for teachers. So what we want to do is you can come in the classroom maybe. Again, this is like as needed. But you could come into the classroom and kind of sub for like 10 minutes, or someone else could do this as well. It doesn't have to be the counselor, but I feel like the counselor is a good person, so you could do follow-up. But the counselor comes in, so instead of them sending them to your office for 10 minutes and occupying your time, you would just come to them and kind of push in for 10 minutes, help the other class sub so the teacher and the student can go in the hallway and they can resolve, forgive, and repair, right? So they can kind of repair the issue. You could also, talk to them for a few minutes before or after as well, to kind of guide them through that process. So that's a great way to resolve some conflicts using the circle methods. So like I said, I'll link to that article in the show notes. Do your own research as well. Restorative practices, they can be super duper powerful. Maybe ask your admin if you can attend a training. That would be amazing. So we have the morning meeting, the restorative practices, and lastly, I might have said I only had 2 things, but I do have 3 for you. The school-wide kindness cards. So these are just like fun, silly things you can do, where you could have like some kindness cards that you would pass out. I think I have like some kindness pumpkins or something. I'll link to in the show notes if you want to make it like fun and October themed. I love October, but so some kindness cards are just fun little school-wide initiatives that you do to promote kindness, like a kindness day, kindness month, random acts of kindness, great kindness challenge. Any of those things are really great in creating a culture of kindness at your school. Awesome, guys. I hope you found this episode super helpful, and I will talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.